pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yep, bow our heads. Father, we thank you for your guidance with our Squadron 5, for safety of our travels, safety of our missions, and give us strength for continuing our mission in regards to adding more information to our minds and bodies. We pray for those who are ill, Father. Give them strength. And we pray for the Jones family who lost a dear friend from Squadron 5. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, welcome everybody. So today we will dedicate to emergency services. We will go over e-services, reinforce especially new members, all the peculiarities of navigating that system, making sure that actually you can effectively find the information you're looking for and can progress with your professional development. It's good to be back. I missed a couple of meetings. Good to see you all, guys and ladies. So I traveled to Vietnam, and it was a long flight, like 14 hours to Taipei and like 3 hours from there to Vietnam. And I crossed the date line twice. Coming back was worse because I actually it was a very long Wednesday for me. So I departed like 5 p.m. from local time and landed at 9 p.m. Los Angeles time, same day, with all that flying. So
it 4-hour flight. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, it was a very fast flight.
Hey, Commander, what made you want to go to Vietnam?
I had a job meeting there. We have an outsourcing team in 2 cities. One is in Da Nang, and the other one is in Hanoi. Da Nang is like middle of Vietnam, and Hanoi is up north. So most of my time was in Da Nang, and weekend we went to see a little village on a river. So it was very hot and humid. And we actually got lucky because the day before temperature was 45 Celsius, which is, I don't know, 110 Fahrenheit, something like that. But when I was there, it was just like about 100, maybe 102.
Cool.
And like the humidity was, we got lucky again, but like 65-80%, so it wasn't too bad. And on the river it was pretty nice. There is it's called, forgot the name of all these Vietnamese names is hard to remember. But it was very nice. On the river they have a lot of these lights in a silk bubble, different colors and so on and so forth. If we have any time left, I can show you some pictures. They took a lot. Oh, that was south in Da Nang area. I can look it up on the map.
Used to be around the DMZ.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they did all the Agent Orange stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it was interesting for me. For me, it was like flashback, sort of kind of going back to Soviet Union. the hammer and what is it called, sickle, and the star and all the red flags and everything. So it was strange. And uniforms of policemen and military, like old Soviet Union style uniforms. It was like very strange. And I had to present in University of Da Nang for fintech as a career path, since our company I work for is in fintech space. So they had this setup. You'll see on pictures. It was bizarre, like stage and the bust of the leader, Ho Chi Minh, I believe. So, very interesting experience. And at the same time, it's all capitalist these days. So it's like very strange. Starbucks, Burger King, KFC. It's such a bizarre environment. It's amazing. So at the end of the meeting, if you have some time, I'll show some pictures. It fascinates me to travel the world, so I like sharing the experiences in this regard. So back to our stuff. Aircraft. So 887 Charlie Papa is in the hangar. Is in good shape. We will close a couple of discrepancies today. One was just updating the navigational database. We did it with Al. Al, by the way, thank you for taking on aircraft maintenance officer role for the squadron. So appreciate it a lot. Aircraft will be in good hands. We'll get through the training and everything with Al. Have you joined the conference for the aircraft maintenance officers we had last week?
No, I did watch it after the fact.
Okay. Yeah, it's a long and not very productive way to spend time, but good to have it in recording. You can actually fast track and focus on areas which may be of interest.
Well, I tried to go in there, but I was the only one in there, so I must have done something wrong.
Okay. Also, our 216 Charlie Papa, the new aircraft we've been waiting for, is down for a long time for maintenance. So what happened is, I believe 4 out of 6 cylinders have been showing compression issues in the 100-hour maintenance, and the aircraft was blowing back oil through cylinders into the breathers. So the aircraft was losing like a quart of oil in an hour.
Which is not considered over any kind of limitation.
Right.
I mean, you can burn 2 quarts of oil an hour if you really want. Now, we had a discussion last month, you weren't here, but they didn't try lapping the valves. They just decided that they need to change the cylinders. And most of the time, if you're getting blow-by through the exhaust system, you can lap this. You can rope, what they call roping the valves. And what you do is you clean off all the carbon so it gets a good seat. They didn't try that, so whatever.
And it looks like the cylinders were not broken in after the overhaul properly, and there is a suspicion that the issue may be due to the fuel servo not giving the full amount of fuel, so the aircraft was flying underpowered. That's one of the working theories why that happened. And neither Arizona wing, who had it before us, nor Squadron at San Diego paid proper attention to the maintenance and indications that something maybe was going wrong. So we end up with aircraft, but without aircraft. On the positive side, PSP is too hot to fly, so we're gonna keep aircraft here and let's work on onboarding as much as it takes. I will work with several instructors and check pilots, and we will try together with Terry to organize a weekend where Saturday will be all flying. So we will have instructors here for those who needs to get through onboarding stuff for the pilots. And on Sunday we will have check pilots. And we will try to get at least 2 aircraft to facilitate the process as fast as possible. So I will provide an update. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Commander. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Can you repeat that last process or that last sentence that you just said about the check ride Sunday? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Me and Terry have an idea of bringing in a couple of, ideally maybe 3 aircraft. It all depends how many instructors and check pilots we can round up for this event. So we will have on Saturday instructors and on Sunday check pilots. We will have all pilots ready for their onboarding flights on Saturday and Sunday here. and we will get you guys through the process as quickly and efficiently as possible. So this way you don't have to chase the aircraft, you don't have to chase the instructor, you don't have to chase the check pilot. We will bring it here for you, and I just hope it's gonna happen sometime soon. Okay? Any questions on any of this? So I highly recommend every pilot, you're a VFR pilot, doesn't matter, load time, whatever, just get through that process. Okay, we will do our best to make it happen. It will require an effort, as many pilots as it takes. Who didn't fly for a long time in our group, and we just essentially it's just me and Terry. And maybe a couple more pilots in Palm Springs, but it's very far for them to drive here. So essentially, just me and Terry, and too much work. Okay. Yes.
What kind of timeline are we looking at? Like, when is this weekend going to be?
Most likely, sometime in the second half of June, because we need to align multiple people to be here at the same time. And we will try to make it so there is at least a couple of aircraft. So I'm looking at 887 Charlie Papa and 743 Charlie Papa potentially, and hopefully we will get also one of the round dial 182s. Unless counter drag sucks everything in, and worst case scenario we'll have one aircraft and maybe just one instructor pilot on a Saturday and one check pilot on Sunday. But we now have quite a lot of pilots, different phases of onboarding. A lot of pilots have already completed all the prerequisites. I believe you completed all of yours. I believe Al have uploaded everything. And I will work until that event. I will work with all other pilots to make sure that you uploaded all the paperwork and you have checked all those boxes. All right. All right. That's it. Boarding. Reading CAP emails. You have seen the notification about the old Access LMS, Learning Management System, going away. It doesn't mean all the stuff you have completed is going away, but you have to back it up. So download, save all the PDFs for all certificates you have completed. For new members, it's not that much. For me, it took me like 3-4 hours to download them all.
So you download each individual certificate, not just the...
You can download, you can do this transcript, I mean list of all the stuff you have done, but I suggest you download each individual certificate. It's much better, especially if you don't have that much. Or at least get those which are most important, okay? So the professional level, you don't care, you just get the list of all the courses you completed, and the fact that it's completed is already reflected in your member file. So that's not a big deal. Big deal is all the stuff you do to get through your qualifications outside of just professional levels. Okay. So the new system functional. Use it. Don't wait until it comes in. Most likely, it's not going to be right first time around. So it's not going to it's not going to work. Stuff will not proliferate as it's supposed to, etc. So I wouldn't really bet on the new system to be.
The instructors are already working within it.
Yes.
Because one of the instructors over the weekend, she said they're expecting us to be perfect to be able to teach this. So we're already in there working on it.
No, I believe they should, because it takes time for them to get accustomed to the system. All right. So that's about learning management system. Let me take a peek at emails if I missed anything from the notes. Yeah, so there was an email. The system is Absorb, and the email came from Civil Air Patrol Educational Services and Events. So if you are not on your CAP email, please get into it and make sure you're seeing and reading those emails and filtering through those which are important and ignoring those which are not. And reminder, you all have access to Microsoft Office 365 as a part of being part of California Wing. Not every wing has that benefit, by the way. Which you can install it on multiple devices, and all you have to do after you install Office 365 is sign in with your CAP email. Okay. And I will also talk how you sign into different systems. You essentially have two logins in CAP. One is Microsoft Office credentials, which is your CAP email, and the other one is your e-services username and password connected to each other. It's like completely different digital identities. Okay. Let's see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything, so I'll quickly scan through the stuff. Okay, I don't think I missed anything. So let's go into e-services and other resources we have. So I will share on Teams. Those on Teams, can you see my screen? Dallas?
Yes, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so when you land on e-services, oops, kicks you out once in a while. Let me log back in. So that's one email, and you set up e-services as soon as you become a member. So they will email you the steps and to get into this system. The system requires multi-factor authentication, so you can set it up connected to your cell phone, so you can always, no matter which computer you are going to. Yeah, please. Maybe you can move closer so you can see your screen. Okay. So your view will be somewhat different, and it depends on your access level and roles you take in the squadron and group and the wing and so on and so forth. So you get more and more access over time, more roles you take upon yourself. But you all see some statistics for the unit, for national. You see the chain of command. You see you will not see approvals and validations until you have some kind of responsibility relevant to that, and you have some use, registration zone, plugin or whatever. And on this side you have favorite apps. Initially it's empty. You will not have anything. And that's where you actually need to create shortcuts for the most important stuff you are going to use. So to create shortcuts, you click on the top right corner on these gears and go to the favorite applications. And I have a lot selected. Over time, I learned what I need in my duties and responsibilities, so I added whatever I need. I can point at few areas you need to have covered. The command is not applicable. Education and training, specialty track. You're gonna need that. Go through some kind of professional development. You're gonna use that. Under logistics pilots, at least, probably mission observers make sense for you as well. You need to select MRAD. This is a system where we have all the aircraft maintenance records. If you are in administrative or logistics role, you may need to select operational resource management system or RMS. and you can for you, Al, it makes sense to select regulation 130-2 for CAP aircraft maintenance management. Online learning, that's extremely important. Okay, so you need to select learning management system. Currently it's Access, then it will be a new one at some point. I don't know, distance learning, I didn't check it, but CAP online courses and exams, you can select that. Under operations, very important, you need to select operations qualifications. It's not selected for me because there is a bug in the system. If I select it, I will have 2 operations qualifications for whatever reason. That's why I removed it here, but you certainly should start this one. Okay. WIMMERS, same thing. WIMMERS is for mission observers and for the air crew in general. That's where you actually find the aircraft, the mission information, etc. Then next important stuff, some regulations. If you are going through counter-drag onboarding, you will need regulations for that. For all pilots, you need reference to 70-1, CAP flight management. That's very important. It's a must to read it at least before every Form 5 you are going to, because you have to actually refresh your exam for this regulation on annual basis. Personnel, not applicable for most of you, except for administrative officer. Thank you, Kathleen, for taking on that role. We'll talk about it offline. CAP uniform manual, very important. You have to know how to wear the uniform. This one is very simple. It's called corporate. Doesn't apply any specific standards, except it has to be clean. It has to be properly adjusted and fitting you based on your sizes and everything. And that's and under safety, you need to select Safety Information System, or CAPSYS. That system is used to report incidents. If you are part of any kind of incident or accident and you happen to think how do I report it to Civil Air Patrol, that's the system. And one day we will have a dedicated time to go over it. I will ask Chuck to prepare a presentation as a safety officer. Okay, so once you make all the selections, your favorite apps will be filled up with some meaningful stuff. And probably first area you are looking at is operations qualifications. If you are engaged in any kind of emergency services as an air crew or ground team member, this is where you're going to keep track of your qualifications. So when you click on it, initially you don't get much. It's a blank screen. Most of subsystems in e-services work this way. And if you click on this Squadron instructions, they give you kind of an overview. You can always go back and review it, but it's not that it's quite intuitive, I would say. Once you get a hang of how to navigate it, you'll get used to it and you'll figure it out. So once you land on specific page for one of the subsystems, you click on that title. It's always red. You put mouse over it, it becomes blue, and it shows this the circle and an arrow pointing down. It kind of invites you to see all other options. So here you can find specific areas of your interest. Would be one-on-one card, like every member has one, and when you go to any kind of official event, exercise, or a real mission, you need to have one of those cards with you, because it tells other people what you're capable of, how you can be useful. So if I punch in my CAP ID, and you will learn to memorize your CAP ID real fast. Once you start using the system, it will prompt you all the time, enter your CAP ID, enter your CAP ID, and so on and so forth. So as a new member, you should have uploaded your photograph. The photograph is uploaded also through your e-services, and the area where you upload the photo tells you what the requirements are. It has to be off-white background, good lighting, your face should be in clear, and you should fit in the picture basically as shown here in this example. You don't have to be in uniform if you don't have a uniform, but preferably once you get one, just update your picture. Okay, it just looks professional. So you keep your weight current in somewhere in the profile. Don't ask me right now, I don't remember. But somewhere in your profile you can update your weight, and this weight is your flying weight, meaning that everything upon you, all your clothes and jacket and everything, and your backpack, whatever you carry with yourself, that together you put it upon yourself, get on the scale, and update your profile with that information. So when pilot works on weight and balance, we look at the CAP 1-on-1 card first, and if we don't find the information there, we will call you if we want to be part of our air crew, because we have to calculate that weight and balance. And then we see all the skills you accumulate over time. Initially it's quite empty, but as you start working on it, and I have several members who just joined us recently, and they filled up that piece of paper pretty good. I think Chuck is keeping good record within our squadron on adding additional ratings. So he's very active in that regard. So there is a little legend. It shows which specific ratings expiring or not. So for example, in my case, my mission pilot, my pilot stuff altogether is expiring this month. Why? Well, I have Form 5 due end of the month, and I have it scheduled this Friday. Once I complete Form 5, it will be good for 1 more year. Some ratings have validity of 3 years, and so on and so forth. So my water survival will be expired in September 2025. And I have my CAP driver license, and this is generated today. Now, area you will find all the stuff you need to upload. You click on view upload documents, okay? And this is broken into several categories. So you have your emergency services, where you can upload specific courses you complete. For example, most relevant would be ICS and IS courses like IS 100, IS 200, etc. Once you complete FEMA training and get your certificate, you select specific category of document you are uploading and just upload the PDF. And then once you do it, you submit it, it will be sent first to me and my deputy commanders. If I'm not available, someone else will look at it, and we will approve it, and then it goes to the group, and then from group it goes to the wing, and eventually it clears and it's in green for you. So you will over time have multiple files listed here, and they just show date uploaded and the file name, not much. But when I receive a notification that I need to review somebody's qualification, I go here, I will enter your CAP ID, and I will find the file you loaded, and just make sure that the file is legible. You didn't upload an empty file by mistake, and so on and so forth. Also, for the pilots, there is a whole lot of stuff you need to upload, and we will talk about it more specifically. But over time, that list also grows. And every time I complete Form 5, every year I have to upload the copy of the Form 5 for someone to validate that rating. The next important area is SQTR entry worksheet. Skills, qualifications, training record. Okay, we call it SQTR. So you click on that, and you have functional areas. So most of us will work on operations emergency services, so that's selected by default. If you are working in operational security space, then you will have to deal with the other type of entries. If anyone is interested in becoming unit alert officer, that will have its own dedicated selection. Then you go to achievements and just find the achievement you are working on. For example, let's do Al. What is your cup ID, Al?
721815.
Okay, so let's look at mission scanner. Okay, so you start with basic prerequisite. You have to complete general emergency services, which applies to multiple emergency services, public, all of them. And you have to be 18 years older and to get my approval. Before you actually start doing anything, you have to say, Andre, I want to do it, and all you have to do is just select this and click on a date and hit submit. And it will send me a notification. I will receive an email. I'll go in and check it off. Okay. Don't worry, it's not gonna clear it.
Or he'll decline it.
Or I can decline it. If I don't feel you are fit for that role, I may decline it. Although it didn't happen so far. So see, Al was busy. He completed the famine prep training, and he was then signed off by me to go into the next, we call it advanced training. He completed IS 100 and all the stuff required to be completed, and he just needs one more actual exercise, participation in exercise. It can be a SARX, it can be rolling SARX if we have funds available, but he has to now find means to get this last task signed off. He doesn't have to pretty much do anything. He has to be in the airplane in the actual sortie for the training mission. Okay, and once he completes, it could be someone who is qualified to sign you off on specific rating. And next thing I'll explain how you find this kind of people, right? How do you know who is qualified to sign off on specific task? And he will have to put mission ID under which he actually completed the training. So for some reason we missed the mission number for the previous sign-off, but hopefully the audit will not catch on that.
I have it at home. I'll find it.
And worst case scenario, you just have to put it in and hit submit again, and I'll check you off. So that's a mission scanner, right? So mission scanner is actually a prerequisite to a lot of other options. So one other option, once you become a mission scanner, is airborne photographer. So Michael is working on that, right? So you have completed it? Not yet? Okay. Good. No worries. Get your health taken care of and continue. Also, it's a prerequisite for mission pilot. So mission pilot has to become a mission scanner before mission pilot can become a mission pilot. And the reason for that, because he will be driving these people in the back, and mission pilot has to be aware of the well-being of the people in the back and their health and condition, that they are fit for the job in the back, whether it's airborne photographer or mission scanner. So if you look, for example, at mission pilot, so GES is a requirement, and the mission scanner has to be completed, and then the transport mission pilot has to be completed. And transport mission pilot is a very simple rating to get. All you have to submit is actual proof that you have enough pilot in command hours. And you have to be a VFR pilot, so out of order a little bit. And then mission pilot has to have 175 PAC hours and 200 PAC hours and 300 PAC hours. But at 200, I believe you can start onboarding process, and once you cross 300, you can be a mission pilot. And you can, again, you get my approval, but you get the idea, right? So very simple. When you go to any kind of training event, like search and rescue exercise or disaster relief exercise or whatever, you are working on, which task you have to complete, and if you have familiarization and preparation completed. because if you haven't done the prerequisites, you will not be allowed to work on advanced training. So for example, if you look at a mission observer rating, which I recommend to all pilots going through onboarding, because it gives you an opportunity once you are a mission observer to actually participate in missions and learn how to be a mission pilot. So that's a useful rating to have. A pilot and a mission observer, you can be a safety pilot for who wants to get the currency for the rating, etc. Okay. So for the list of tasks is smaller on FAM and prep than for the mission scanner, because actually mission scanner requisite for the observer. So once you complete the mission scanner, you will see that getting other ratings is a lot easier and faster. But let's say if Al wants to be a mission observer, he has to complete before search and rescue exercise and works on advanced training. All right. So now let's talk about how you find a set. To find a set, you use another resource. It's called Pacific Region Mobile App, right? The address for that is mobile-tools.pcrcap.org. And our group commander sends a notification about it at least once a month. Mobile tools .pcrcap. And the best way to access that resource is on your mobile device. And if you have Android or Apple mobile phone, you open it in the browser and then you save it as a shortcut on your mobile device desktop. So every device is different. Fortunately, my phone is in repair. So this is a temporary Android device and I actually didn't use it for a while. But search how to create a shortcut to the website on your desktop on your smartphone of your choice. And it's very straightforward. I believe on Safari you just click somewhere in the address bar and it gives you an option to save to desktop. And once you save it to the desktop, it will look like an app. Okay, so you click on it, it will open this kind of login window where you sign in with your corporate credentials and you use your CAP email as a username and you use your password. I'm lazy remembering passwords, so I store it in Chrome and my phone, and now finally we have all the passwords shared across multiple platforms, so it becomes very easy, too easy sometimes. Hopefully they don't hack all this password databases. It will be a disaster. So then once you sign in, it will ask you to choose the wing. We are in California, right? So you select California wing, and you're welcome to browse other wings. You will see that actually California is much more advanced than everybody else in technology. Having Silicon Valley pays back, I guess. And here you can find aircraft information, call sign, check pilots. Keep that in mind for the pilots who are going through onboarding, right? Form 14, you will learn that Form 14 is a very important piece of virtual paper these days. You have to upload to every sortie you fly if you are actually buying fuel or oil or for anything. So FRO list, FRO, flight release officer, important for those who are pilots because you have to get your flight released before you can actually fly. Your sortie has to be signed off by flight release officer. And flight release officer is your wingman. He or she is looking behind, over your shoulder, making sure you're actually back on the ground safely. And if you are not back on the ground on a given time, then they will search for you guys. IC list. If you surf on the wing alert duty, then you need to know how to find an incident commander. Should we get a call for a search mission, that's where you find that current acting IC. You will see the member information for your own self or for any other member by CAP ID. You can report a mishap. You can see your own information here, which essentially pulls your one-on-one card. By the way, you see I have DSW on file. I am registered as a disaster service worker with California State, and every person who is learning about FEMA response stuff and CERT response stuff should register to be useful to the community. So the state will call upon you when there is a need for it. Plus, this is a requirement for some of the missions we go to. If I didn't have it, I probably wouldn't qualify for the counter drug, and I wouldn't qualify for actual search and rescue if that is being called upon.
Did you get your picture in there?
If you have your picture uploaded, it should be there at some point. It's not a synchronous system, so I believe once in a while they pull data from the main source, which is e-services, and probably it's not 100% up to date. And sometimes you see the aircraft are not where they're supposed to be, and so on and so forth. And this one, set list. If you are working on specific rating and you need someone to sign you off, this is how you find someone to sign you off. A unit. A unit, because we have quite a lot of sets in our squadron. Group, all part of Group 3 Inland Empire. AOBD, Swift, we have communications unit leader, Mike Swift. We have mountain flying certification set Terry. Mission observer, we have handful. Lon, unfortunately, is not in our state anymore. He is in Texas, so he is not much useful, but we have plenty of more sets. For mission pilot, I am a set, and Terry is also a set. For mission radio operator, Mike Swift, and I'm pretty sure Chuck will become one soon. For mission scanner, mission staff assistant, myself and Mike Swift. Mission safety officer, transport mission pilot. I don't know what to do there. There is literally nothing to learn being a transport mission pilot, but apparently I'm a set. And Chris is a water survival set. So we can have our own water survival training, actually. All right. So everybody clear how to find the set? Okay.
You might mention, because if you can't find a set in your own group, then you have to go to that other option.
So then let's say you are working on airborne photographer. We don't have a set yet, and hopefully David will become one soon. At least we found a mentor who will work with Dave. And but currently, to get your signs off, you have to click on airborne photographer and look where these people are. Now you look at it and say, okay, some of this quite easy to understand. Like, for example, San Francisco Bay, certainly far away, right? So not applicable. Our wing commander is appearing at the California wing level, but if you will learn over time where people are, especially those who are in high demand. So Craig is based out of Fullerton, not too far from here, right? So if you need to work with him, you can just agree with him on a meeting someplace and maybe meet in the middle at the cafeteria or something like that. And we have in our Inland Empire, Lieutenant Kevin Shen is an airborne photographer set. All right, clear how to by specific qualification. Now let me talk to pilots, it's important to find your instructor pilots. And it's a little misleading because we have a check pilots, but we don't have a tab for the instructor pilots. Well, the instructor pilots are in the same category. Fortunately, you cannot look by unit. So we are in group 3. What are the neighbor groups? We have group 7, which is essentially Orange County. Okay. We have group 1, which is Los Angeles. Okay. And that's probably the only stuff within your reach, unless, let's say, group 8, you want to drive to San Diego area. So if I click on group 3, we don't have much. So let's say general airplane, 1 person in the whole group. That's why we need you desperate to get through.
You'll be very busy.
We will make you fly as much as you want. Just get through onboarding. So in group 3 is very poor in this regard. But if we like, okay, for the pilots, you want to get just round dial, click on airplane, and we have 4 in group 7. And group 7 is essentially Long Beach, Fullerton, John Wayne. Okay, and you find most of them at Fullerton, and it's not far, really. If you meet with a person during the normal off-peak hours, getting there is like what, 35-40 minutes.
What were the 3 airports? Fullerton, John Wayne, and
Long Beach, we don't have airplane, but maybe some of the people are based in the vicinity of Long Beach. We have airplanes, Fullerton. 1 is at John Wayne. John Wayne is round dial 182. Nice airplane. I actually flew it a lot. Very simple, powerful. It has STC. It has more horsepower than standard 182, and it's set up for towing gliders. There is 1 in Torrance. It's not kind of mess to get there. I wouldn't go to Torrance. I would rather drive to Whiteman than to Torrance from traffic point of view. So now, speaking of Whiteman, right? So what can we find at Whiteman? If you click on group 1, click on airplane, look at that. But it's not all of these people are based at Whiteman. Like Robin Kim, I believe he is out of Santa Monica. He's very good. He's airline pilot, but he is very dedicated to Silver Patrol. He actually was nominated to be an instructor of the year for the wing. And he well deserved that. He never turned me down. He worked with me. He flew here for my initial Form 5 from Santa Monica, and I paid courtesy. I drove to Santa Monica for my next Form 5 with him. So work with people, okay? And if you work with people, they will actually help you. Bagheeri, he goes by Frank. He is quite responsive. He is out of Whiteman. Not sure about other people. I didn't work with them personally. But how to find out? Just give them a call, send them a text message. If you are sending them a text message, make sure that you identify yourself, because text message from some unidentified number, say your name, your CAP ID, what you are looking for, and when are you looking for, get things done. And the instructors, they will not get you an airplane. You will be lucky if they will give you their time. And remember, CAP instructors don't charge for their services, right? So it's free instruction. So value their time. If you set the time aside with someone and you don't show up, they will not work with you anymore. Trust me. Okay, don't fail it. Other people expectations. Okay, and I mean, be courteous. If you cannot make it, give them advance notice. Okay, don't stretch it to the last minute. Okay, be respectful of other people's time. If you go through onboarding on round dial, you look for the instructor on just instructor pilot airplane, and look at group 1. There is a lot. Okay, and check pilots are scarce, but instructor pilots are plentiful in group 1. If you're looking for instructor 1000 qualified, but other in category instructor pilot G1000, keep in mind, if you need instrument add-on to your Form 5, then unfortunately there is no way to tell an instructor pilot if CFII. You have to really ask them one by one. Okay, and we don't have a lot CFIIs, so you are becoming even more valuable. So we get you and Katya through the onboarding process. We are good. Hopefully we'll
get a lot of free lunches.
Yes, yes. So the free lunch, don't turn people down on free lunch. It's a good courtesy to give, especially if people make an effort and drive long distances, right? So let's take a look at check pilots in group 7. And if you click at instructor pilots for G1000, for example, nice list. Okay, most of them are very responsive. I actually didn't talk to 3 out of 7. I spoke to 4 of them. RJ Rajan Ranjit, he is responsive, but he is a Delta first officer, so he could be busy. He's early in his career. He is flying quite a lot. Ekaterina, I tried to get time with her for my instrument check ride, but she's not CFII. If you're just a VFR pilot, she's quite responsive. Scott Dynin, he's great. He travels quite well. I think he's retired or something. He's overseas maybe half of the time. So, but if you get him, he is committed, right? So he will be here or at Fullerton. He prefers John Wayne or Fullerton. So be ready to reserve the aircraft over there and drive there and to meet him at one of those airports. Jeff Bungen, he is not CFII, but he is quite responsive too. Okay, so I worked with 3 out of these people directly. Ekaterina, I've heard good things about her. She is a young CFI out of Fullerton. All right. Any questions? So let's go back and talk about how you find an airplane. I created a spreadsheet and saved it in Teams, and it's not up to date. If anyone is willing to take an effort and update it, show the current location, because we had quite a lot of aircraft shuffled around. So we need to actualize that information with relevant data. But if you go to Teams, which is another tool I highly recommend you to utilize more and more, because this is where we can kind of organize our knowledge. Okay. Unfortunately, Microsoft is not the best company in the world in terms of making everything consistent. So Microsoft for file sharing has OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams. And Teams kind of lives on top of SharePoint, but a little bit on the side. So there are multiple ways we can use to store data, and the OneDrive is one of them, SharePoint is another one, and you can make shortcut to SharePoint in OneDrive. It's a typical Microsoft. So you have to really know how it works and make it happen. So what we have done on Teams, we have our Squadron team, okay, and I'm trying my best to add every new member to this team channel.
That's not being shared for some reason.
Okay, I'll switch to sharing a whole screen. Okay. Sorry guys on Teams, you are quiet and not complaining, so I just keep going. So on Teams we have different categories of channels. So for example, a lot of them are quite empty. To be honest, I'm probably the only one who adds stuff there. Well, Chuck have done maybe some collaboration with me on, in some areas, but I really need cannot do everything by myself. So if anyone is interested to pick up and carry on with one of the categories, be my guest. I'll help you to get started and just carry on. For aircrew, most important will be CAP pilots onboarding. Okay, so there, whenever I come across a good piece of information, I post it there. You look under files, you'll find some of the useful information on aircraft rates, on autopilot use, and I created this spreadsheet, aircraft. So here I categorize them as follows. So I used actually PRMA, the mobile app, this one, to find the information, right? So that's a good exercise. Actually, it gets you accustomed to find out the information in CAP system. And actually, I'm planning a travel for business first week of June, and I'm planning to fly in Florida. Because once you become a pilot in CAP, you can fly any aircraft anywhere in nationwide, as long as you find the aircraft. That's a different story how to find an aircraft, because it's not user-friendly to find an aircraft of your qualification. And I can maybe show you how I did it. So here I pulled all the aircraft in California wing, and some of the aircraft were retired. For example, this one is retired. This is used to be Fallbrook aircraft, and some other aircraft has been retired. So this one, at the time I created this one was decommissioned, but well, it was 1972, an old one. So anyway, so here you can see the type of avionics, round dial or G1000, and location. Location is not quite true at this time. For example, the 887 is relevant. 743 is not relevant. I have to update it actually. But you're welcome to collaborate on it. How you find the location? So the best way to find the location is using AMRAD. So on AMRAD, going back to e-services, you go to, if you created that shortcut, it will be in your favorites. If you didn't add it to your favorites, you go to the menu, and I believe it's under the operations. No, it's not. Logistics probably. Yes, logistics. Okay, under logistics you'll find the same thing. So everything you added the shortcut in favorites can be found through the menu. You may have to go through that process a few times before you figure out where everything is. So if you search for aircraft status, for example, and you select California wing, airport state, okay, and that's it. You just click filter, and you don't care about the status of aircraft. It will show you all the aircraft in California wing, and here you will see the current location, and the current location is based on where it landed last time. Okay, and this is what it's probably the most up-to-date information about the location of aircraft. And this is exactly what I did to find the Florida aircraft. Then of course, I'm not familiar with the airport the ICAO codes for Florida, so I have to. Then I sorted by the type of aircraft. So you can sort it by the model. I am not qualified in 172, so I skipped that. I scroll to 182s and I selected those which are not red, meaning that red is currently not mission capable, and green is mission capable. So okay, I looked at 182, which is mission capable, and in the area where I'm planning to be in Florida, and I found one within like an hour driving distance. Okay. All right. So this is how you find the actual location of the aircraft to actualize that table. So if you'd like, you can update that chart with the present location and dismiss the aircraft which are no longer in California.
You said that AMRAD was under logistics?
Yes.
And if I don't see it, do I just have a different one?
You don't see it probably. Are you currently pilot? Are you?
I am a pilot.
No, but not within civil. Once you become Civil Air Patrol VFR pilot,
Even without being a pilot, it's there.
is there?
Yeah.
I
No,
don't see it.
you don't see it?
Ah, you are mission. You are
Oh,
maintenance
because
officer.
it's assigned
Yeah,
to
you are
you.
maintenance officer. So it's by your level of qualification. So once you become VFR pilot, you become you probably not gonna be swimmers.
Oh, I do have that.
You have that?
I mean, I was able to put it in favorite swimmers 2.0.
And operations, if you go to under operations, this is where you find swimmers. And this is where you will find actual schedule for the aircraft. So once you go to Wimmers, on your left side, you scroll down to support, and then you select scheduling. Once you click on scheduling module, it will load the current calendar. And first thing you do, you update your preferences. I prefer Pacific time zone, not Zulu, for ease of search. But if you're a pilot, Zulu is easy for you, should be. And you need to add aircraft which you like, okay, and you are willing to drive to. So once Al updates that chart, you're welcome to use it as a reference. Otherwise, explore it on your own, and and ask me a question if you get stuck. So one most important lesson you learn in CAP: if you get stuck, ask for help. And myself, Mike, Chris, Chuck, anybody who is willing to help, we give our contact information out in the open. My contact information is even published on our website. So you have ways to find me, okay? Or just email me. I definitely check email at least once a day, minimum. Okay, so if I am traveling, I will respond, sorry, I missed your message, I couldn't answer it because I'm far away, but I'm not traveling that often. I traveled in the past 6 months only twice. Okay, so here I selected the list of aircraft I am interested in, and I selected 182 and 206 aircraft. So all of these, I can send you my list, but this is actually, if you go back to that Excel spreadsheet which I showed you before, you will see my favorite are highlighted, I believe, in green. And those are aircraft I added to my list. And you can create for every aircraft you are willing to drive to the notifications. So whenever the schedule is changing or someone booked the aircraft, you will receive an email. Okay, so that gives you an opportunity to learn ahead of time a specific date was booked. But after you configure all of your favorite aircraft, you return to calendar, and everything now at your fingertips. So for example, today, if you click, you will see 718 at San Diego is currently in MX, means maintenance. 743 Charlie Papa was flying from 7 to 9 under this mission sortie, and so on and so forth. So if aircraft of your choice is not booked at specific time of your interest, you are welcome to reserve it. To reserve the aircraft, you click on Schedule New Aircraft. You already selected the date in the previous step. You specify at what time you start taking possession of the aircraft, right? So you check out the aircraft. So let's say I check out the aircraft 21st, which is today. I want to do my, let's say, night currency, right? So 2100. And I specify I will reserve it for 2 hours. That gives me time for pre-flight, for currency flight, etc. And I select, let's say, 887 Charlie Papa. Where is it? There it is. I don't know how it sorts that list of tail numbers. So every time aircraft in a different order. I don't ask me. I have no idea.
Blame Microsoft.
If you know the mission under which you are going to fly, you punch it in. But you can start with TBD. Okay, just select TBD and add schedule. That's it. So now the aircraft will be on a schedule under your name. Make sure your profile has your current contact information. So why? If there is a higher priority mission, people will reach out to you with a courtesy and say, hey, sorry, we are taking the aircraft from you. So you don't drive to the airport to find out that, hey, aircraft is gone. So, and by the way, before you start driving to the airport, check if nobody took it. Okay. So I'll cancel it because I'm not going to fly today. But you get the idea. It's very easy to schedule the aircraft. You just need to know what you are looking for, which aircraft you want to fly. So let's say this Friday, I'm planning to do my Form 5. I reserved the aircraft from 11 to 3. Why I took it for 4 hours. Form 5 doesn't take that long. Well, the Czech pilot is in Fullerton. He doesn't want to drive to Riverside. So I will fly the aircraft to Fullerton, do the Form 5 with him and fly back. And that's why I need a little bit more time. I'm actually working on alternative solution for that because I learned there is a aircraft available at Fullerton, and maybe the pilot who booked it from 1 to 4 is willing to share the aircraft before he flies or after he flies. So it looks like it's going to work out. I'll cancel once I know for sure. But it gives you an idea, right? So once you reserve the aircraft, you are kind of responsible for it. So don't keep it and don't fly it, right? So if you just put multiple aircraft on a schedule and you didn't fly any of them, over time people will learn and they will be upset with you. And sometimes it's okay if you have, let's say, absolutely perfect alignment with the instructor pilot, but the aircraft is missing at specific airport. See what's available at that airport. See who reserved that aircraft at that airport, and reach out and say, I see you have aircraft with to be defined mission. Are you sure you're going to fly? And maybe people's plan changed and they say, oh, sorry, you can have it. It happened to me. Okay, so just be proactive about your options. More open you are to drive to other place, more open you are to work with other people's schedule, more chances you get to get through onboarding faster. I like repeating my story because in my case, there was no aircraft at Riverside. So I actually had to work with multiple airports, and I happened to get one flight here out of Riverside on Zelda, and then I had to drive to get my 182 check Form 5. I drove to Torrance and I drove to Santa Monica. And when I needed to get my G1000 NXI flight, I drove to Whiteman. So it's up to you how willing you are to go extra mile to get things done. Any questions about all of this so far?
For the email, do I just use that email you told me and create an account on Microsoft?
Try to look up your invitation to CAP.
I did.
And it should have your CAP email as it was created. So you can always reach out to IT help desk.
Which help desk?
California Wing help desk. And how to find them? Actually, that's another helpful information. You actually need to find an IT officer. At our group level, if you go to staff list on this PCR mobile app, you click on staff list, go to group 3.
I can't get in there until I have an email.
I'll give you the number, the contact information. So once you are, you can find different staff members at any level for any unit. So Inland Empire Group 3 IT officer. Travis Carney, and this is his email and his phone number. Okay, take a picture or save it. If you have trouble with your email, if you have trouble with your password, you need help. And you can also take this picture. If you cannot reach Travis, reach out to Daniel Stafford. And also Chris Younger, he's our IT officer, and you can. I'll show his contact information. Just a second. Al is in process of learning this stuff, but Chris is usually very available. You can text him at his cell phone number, identify yourself, who you are and what you are looking for, and or email him, and he'll be in touch as soon as he can. All right. Anything else? Okay. It's a lot, and don't be overwhelmed that it's a lot. It just takes practice. And if you are actively pursuing your goals within the organization, you will learn all of this. Just remember, if you need help, ask for help. Okay. All right. Well, the formal part is over. Thank you, everybody, for joining.